So in the previous classes, we have been discussing the topics, namely asexual reproduction and the part in the sexual reproduction. See, in the reproduction of plants in angiosperm, there are two types. One is asexual method and another is a sexual method of reproduction. In asexual method of reproduction, we explained the vegetative and the production of sexual force. And in the sexual reproduction, the last clipping, we discussed about the male reproductive organ androcium and the development of male gametophyte. In this session, we are going to see the development of female gametophyte. Let's now start with which is the female reproductive structure of female reproductive organ. Female reproductive organ is gynosium. See, gynosium is produced from the floral primordium. What is floral primordium? See, a plant which grows vegetatively enters into the reproductive phase. The activity of vegetative activity is converted into reproductive activity, in which it forms a primordium, that is a mass of meristematic tissue that forms the reproductive parts from the vegetative part. For example, if there is a vegetative leaf, that leaf is converted into floral leaves. For telling clearly, a vegetative leaf is converted into a stamen. A vegetative leaf again is converted into a carpel. Now, this is a female part. This is called carpellary leaf. Carpellary leaf. So, from the vegetative activity, when the tissue enters in the reproductive activity, it starts producing reproductive parts, as we have discussed earlier. Reproductive parts like flower, which consists of calyx, corolla, androcium, and at the center, the innermost wall, gynosium. So now our interest is gynosium, that is the female reproductive part. It is produced from the apical part of the floral primordium, that is particularly called papillate meristem. A meristem called papillate structure. So papillate is a small structure which is produced from the meristem, basal meristem, that grows into a gynosium. So gynosium is a female reproductive part. It is made up of carpels or carpellary leaves. So for that I was explaining that carpellary leaves. This gynosium is also called pistil. Gynosium is also called pistil. And what are the parts of the gynosium? The gynosium, we have three important parts. The three important parts are stigma, style, and ovary. What is the function of style? Stigma first. What is the function of stigma? Stigma is a platform. Stigma is the platform which receives a pollen grain which receives pollen grain by the time of pollination, and the growth of the pollen grain is determined by the substances present in the stigma. Stigma secretes certain substances, enzymes, hormones, etc. They either promote the growth of the pollen grain or they will repel the pollen grain in the cases of incompatibility. So there is incompatibility existing in between the androsium and gynosium, or the male and female reproductive parts of related and unrelated plants. If the plants are related, the pollen grain will be allowed to grow over the stigma. If they are unrelated, if they are from different species, the growth of the pollen grain over the stigma is rejected. So this is called incompatibility action. So stigma is for that. Then style. Style is a space, a column of tissue which is a space for growth of pollen grain. Pollen tube, growth of pollen tube. See, the style may be short or long depending upon the species. And the last broad part at the base is called ovary. As I said, it is made up of carpel and carpellary leaves. So if you have a cross section, you will come across, for instance, we will have this. There is a column of tissue at the center that is called placenta, and there may be chambers, they are called locules. This is the CS of ovary, and here is locule. This is called locule. So the number of locules may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or many depending upon the species. Locule is the actual place where the ovules are attached. Ovules are attached to the placenta. Vacuole becomes the place or space for that. Ovules are actually known as megasporangium. So we are going to discuss the structure of ovules afterwards. And in the locules there may be unilocular, as I said, unilocular or multilocular. In the unilocular, there may be only one ovule. Multilocular, there may be many ovules. If there is only one ovule, that is called uniovulate. There are many in cases like paddy, mango, there is only one ovule. In cases like pomegranate, lotus, cucumber. See, the number of ovules are many. So, gynosium is made up of three very clear parts, namely stigma, style and ovary. In that, ovary is the very, very important part which houses the ovules inside. Ovules are called megasporangium, and they are directly related to the sexual reproduction of the plant. If ovules are absent, though gynosium is present, ovules are absent and the plant will not be successful in the process of reproduction. So the plant to be successful, the well developed ovules are necessary. See, ovule is covered by two integuments. Two integuments like this, and inside that there is a nutritive tissue that is called nucellus. In the nucellus there is embryo sac. See, each ovule as a stalk. The stalk is called funicle. The funicle joins with the ovule at the base, and the place of attachment is called hilum. And in the anatropous ovule, the hilum and the funicle merge, adnate with each other and forms a structure or ridge, and that structure is called rape. And at the basal part, this is the basal part, this is the apical part. At the basal part, the integument and the hilum, funicle, these are all merging in a place. That area is called Salazar region. And quite opposite to that, there is no integumental covering, and that part is called micropylar region. So micropylar region and Salazar region are usually lying opposite to each other. Micropylar region is the place where the pollen tube is allowed to grow, to reach the egg. Salazar region is the opposite side of that. And now, based on the number of integuments present, there may be only one integument. These are integuments. A ovule can be named as unitegmic, which means it has only one integument, or bitegmic, it has two integument. Integuments. So this may be unitegmic or bitegmic. And in this micropylar region, the embryo sac is found. The embryo, what is embryo sac? The embryo sac is embedded in the tissue called nucellus. So what is nucellus? Nucellus is the nutritive tissue. Nucellus is a nutritive tissue which fills a cavity in which the embryo sac is embedded. Embryo sac is embedded. The nucellus is a nutritive tissue to the embryo. See, you see here the egg apparatus and secondary nucleus, antipodals here. This is the female gametophyte. So embryo sac is the female gametophyte. The development of female gametophyte is taking place inside the nucellus. The nourishment to the development of female gametophyte is provided by the nucellus. So nucellus is a nutritive tissue. See, we see the embryo sac. What is the embryo sac? Embryo sac at the Salazar region, there is a big, large, sac-like apparatus, large and oval, large sac-like apparatus at the micropylar end, that is called the embryo sac, where from the embryo sac develops, where from the embryo sac is produced. The embryo sac is produced from the functional megaspore. See, functional megaspore develops into embryo sac, and the embryo sac possesses egg apparatus and antipodals and secondary nucleus. The function of nucellus, as I said earlier, the function of nucellus is nourishment. In some cases, the inner layer of the integument, in addition to the nucellus, also modified into a nucellar tissue. So integument is converted into a nucellar tissue, that is called integumentary tapetum or endothelium. So what is endothelium or integumentary tapetum? Integuments are meant for protection. Sometimes the inner integument is converted or modified itself and becomes a nutritive tissue called nucellus-like nutritive tissue, that is called integumentary tapetum or endothelium. This is found in the case of Astacea. The next, there are two based on the position. Of a sporogenous tissue, the nucellate, the embryo sac or the ovary can be divided into two types. One is tinea nucellate ovary. Ovary can be divided into two types. One is tinea nucellate ovary. Another one is crassy ovary. What is tinea nucellate ovary? If you take an orthotropous ovule, if this is a nucellus, integuments are outside, the sporogenous tissue is just next to one layer, that is hypodermal in position. So sporogenous tissue is hypodermal. This is sporogenous tissue. The sporogenous tissue is just hypodermal. Only one layer of the parietal cells are present. They are called primary parietal cells. These cells are in one layer. Next to that, there is the nucellus or sporogenous tissue. And in this case, the nucellus and embryo sac or smaller. In crassinucellate type, the sporogenous tissue is subhypodermal. There are two layers of parietal cell, 1, 2, 3 like that. Below that, nucellus is produced. In this case, in crassinucellate type, the nucellus is subhypodermal. And the nucellus is bigger. Bigger nucellus, embryo sac is also bigger. This is crassinucellate type. So there are two types of ovary. One is a tinea nucellate ovary. Another one is a crassinucellate ovary. Tinea nucellate ovary, the nucellus and embryo sac is smaller in size. And in a crassinucellate type, the nucellus and the embryo sac are bigger in size. In most of the cases, crassinucellate type is found. This is a classification based on the development of nucellus inside. The next is the tissue. Let's come here. All right, we will take here. If you take the ovary like this, integuments, and here is nucellus. In between the Salazar region and this is the embryo sac, there are certain cells which are having thick wall, and here in the micropylar region also, in between the embryo sac and the micropylar region, there are some thick cells. The cells, thick wall cells at the base are called hypostases. Hypostases. And these cells are called epistases. So hypostases, epistases are group of cells. Hypostasis is found at the salazar region in between the nucellus and salazar sterile cells. And epistasis is a group of cells with the thick walls which are found in between the embryo sac and the nucellar micropylar end. They are called epistasis. These are all special tissues found in the ovule. And so far we have discussed about the structure of ovule, which has a micropylar region and salazar region. Micropylar region, the integument is absent. Salazar is the integument. Salazar region is a region where the base of the ovule and the funicle are fused or merged. And ovule is called megasporangium. Types of ovules. Ovules are of 6 types based on the form, orientation, and the relationship or relative relationship between the micropyle with the salazar end or with the funicle. So based on the form, orientation and relationship of micropyle with the salazar and the funicle, they have divided 6 types of ovules. Orthotropous, anatropous, hemianatropous, compylotropous, amphiotropous, cysteinotropous. So orthotropous ovule is found in Piperaceae, and Polygonaceae. Orthotropous is found in most of the anatropous ovule is found in dicots, most dicots and monocots. Hemiorthotropous is found in Primulaceae. Campylotropous is found in Leguminaceae. Leguminaceae members. And Amphitropous ovules are found in Alisthmates. And Cysteinotropous ovules are found in Cactaceae. We'll see the structure of all these 6 types of ovules one by one. See, orthotropous ovule, the first one, in which nucellus, integument, and the micropylar region, and this is salazar region. The micropylar region and salazar region are lying in straight line. Micropylar region is at the top and salazar region is at the bottom. At the bottom, the funicle is attached. This is called orthotropous ovule. Then anatropous ovule is opposite to that. Anatropous ovule is the ovule where the micropylar region is at the base, very near to the funicle, and the salazar region is at the top. This is a micropylar region. So micropylar region and salazar region are quite opposite to the first type, orthotropous ovule. This is found in most dicots and monocots, and you can see the position of the micropyle. Micropyle is very near to the phylum, but here the micropylar region is at the very distal end. The distance between the funicle and micropyle is more, but here the distance between micropylar region and the funicle is very less, very near, almost close. Then hemiorthotropous. So hemiorthotropous ovule the micropylar region is found at one side, and the micropylar region is found right angle to the funicle. This is funicle, this is micropylar region. So right angle 90 degree, right angle 90 degree, right angle to the funicle. This is found in the case of primulaceae. And fourth one is campylotropous. In this campylotropous, the ovary is more or less bean shaped. Ovary is more or less bean shaped, and the funicle is falling at one side. The micropyle or region is close to, lying in same line with the funicle. Micropyle is lying, you see, this is nucellus and embryo sac. Nucellus, embryo sac, and funicle, Salazar region, funicle region, and micropylar region, they are all close to each other. And here we have to remember one point, that the ovule is bean shaped. Actually bean shaped. Bean, the family Leguminaceae is known for its bean. So the ovary is also bean shaped. Based upon the shape of the ovule, the family has been named. Legumes and bean shaped, bean family. The next is Amphitropous. In this, fourth is Amphitropous. Fifth one is Amphitropous. In Amphitropous ovule, we'll see the micropylar end. This is almost equal to the anatropous ovule, but there is a little difference. See the micropylar end. Micropylar end is very near to the funicle, but what is the difference? The nucellus is horseshoe shaped. Nucellus is horseshoe shaped, and this is called Amphitropous ovule, which is found in Alismataceae. And the last one is Cysteinotropous ovule. This is found in Cactaceae. You can see the long funicle. This is the ovary, integuments. See the funicle. Funicle is long and it covers the ovary. So like this inside. This is nucellus. This is in the case of, this is funicle. Salazar region and micropylar region. So this is the sixth type. This is fifth type, and Cysteinotropous ovule is very specific for the Cactaceae, members of Cactaceae. See, development of megaspore is called megasporogenesis, where from the megaspore is produced. So development of or protection of haploid megaspore from diploid megaspore mother cell, MCC, is called megasporogenesis. So this is one of the important processes which are taking place in the plants. See, this is nucellus. Nucellus found inside the ovule, covered by integuments. During the time of megasporogenesis, an hypodermal cell of the nucellus called archisporium. Archisporium is enlarged. A cell is enlarged with prominent nucleus and a dense cytoplasm. It acts as a functional archisporium or functional cell, and this is going to produce the megaspore. In some cases, the archisporium directly functions as megaspore mother cell. In most cases, the archisporium this is the hypodermal cell of the nucellus. The mass of nucellus cells, an hypodermal cell, which is the first cell from which the megaspore is going to develop, that directly functions as the megaspore mother cell, and there may be reduction division, produces 4 megaspores in some cases. In most cases, the archisporium gives rise to divide periclinally, gives rise to 2 cells. The upper cell is called primary parietal cell. Lower cell is called primary sporogenous tissue. Primary parietal cell and primary sporogenous tissue. The function of the primary parietal cell is it involves in the cell division, divides anticlinally and periclinally, and pushes the primary sporogenous tissue deep into the nucellus. That is the function of primary parietal cell. The primary sporogenous cell divides mitotically. And ultimately it produces megaspore mother cell, MMC, megaspore mother cell. This megaspore mother cell divides meiotically. Megaspore mother cell divides meiotically, produces 4 haploid cells. 4 haploid cells. These are all megaspore, 4 megaspore cells. In this 4 haploid cells, megaspore mother cell, 4 haploid cells, 3 cells that disintegrate in most cases. 3 cells disintegrate, only 1. 3 cells at the micropylar region disintegrates. The one among the 4 haploid cell, one which is facing the Salazar region becomes functional megaspore. Functional megaspore, among the 4, only one becomes functional, which produces embryo sac. And in this, in many cases, among 4 cells, only one develops embryo sac, 2 cells involved in the production of embryo sac, and 4 cells involved in the 4 haploid cells, only 1 cell, 2 cells involved in the formation of embryo sac. 4 cells involved in the formation of embryo sac. So based on that, monospore, there are 3 types of embryo sac: monosporic, bisporic, and polysporic, or tetrasporic. Monosporic embryo sac is found in Polygonum. Bisporic embryo sac is found in Allium, and tetrasporic embryo sac is found in Peperomia. So as we saw earlier, the primary sporogenous tissues divide mitotically and forms a mass of megaspore mother cell. In the megaspore mother cell, meiotic division takes place. Only one megaspore mother cell. The meiotic division takes place and produces 4 haploid cells. In most cases, among the 4 haploid cells, only one involves in the production of functional production of the embryo sac. See, there are 4. The cells at the micropolar end, 3 cells at the micropolar end disintegrate, only one at the Salazar end develops to form functional megaspore. But there are 3 types of embryo sac development. As I said here, only one functional megaspore involves in the production of embryo sac or female gametophyte production, that is called monosporic. 2 cells in that 4, 2 cells are involving in that is called bisporic. If all the 4 cells are active, no one is disintegrated, all cells are involving in the embryo sac formation, that is called tetrasporic embryo sac, and these are rare cases. Monosporic embryo sac is usually found in plants. In this we are going to see the monosporic type of embryo sac. So monosporic type of embryo sac is found in Polygonum. This is also called Polygonum type. Polygonum type of development of embryo, this is also called Polygonum type. Or monosporic embryo sac. So this is called monosporic. We know that it is called monosporic because out of 4 cells, 3 cells disintegrate, only one at the base or at the Salazar region, which is the functional megaspore, involves in the production of embryo sac. This is monosporic. This type of development is commonly found in Polygonum, and so it is called Polygonum type of development of embryo sac. Monosporic embryo sac is also called Polygonum type. The reason is that only one functional megaspore involved in the development of female gametophyte. See, in this, as we said, the basal cell functional megaspore enlarges as it is found here in the Polygonum type. 3 cells disintegrates and only 1 cell enlarges. The cell enlarges and assumes a shape of a sac, and nuclear division takes place. Nuclear division. Nuclear division takes place. The nucleus, haploid nucleus, divides mitotically and produces mitotically and produces 2 nucleases. These 2 nucleases are First, formally it was at the center. A vacuole is created at the center, and the vacuole pushes the nucleus, haploid nucleus, towards the polar region. One towards the micropolar region, another towards the Salazar region. This is two nucleated stage. So we are talking about polygonum type of embryo sac development, monosporic embryo sac development. Afterwards, these two nucleus which are at opposite ends divide mitotically, produces 4 cells. Ultimately we get 4 cells. Each one divides and gives rise to 2 cells, and so we get 4 cells. This is called 4 cell stage. This is called 4 nucleate, not cell, nucleate stage. We cannot call this as 4 cell stage. The reason is that the nucleus divide, cell wall does not form. So this is a single cellular structure in which 2 nucleus are present, 2 nucleate stage. 4 nucleus are found. This is called 4 nucleate stage or tetranucleate stage. Again, these 4 nucleus divide again once mitotically and produces 4 at each pole. 4 at each pole. To understand clearly, 4 nucleus at each pole. This is called 8 nucleated stage. What will happen afterwards? See, in this 8 nucleus, 3 or 4 are at the micropolar region, 4 are at Salazar region. See, among the 4 in the micropolar region, 3 form a group, and that is called egg apparatus. At the center, there will be egg. At the sides, there are 2 synergids. And among the 3 form the egg apparatus, only one, that is the upper polar nucleus, comes at the center. Upper polar nucleus. And cells at the base, 4 nucleus at the base, 3 form cell wall and form antipodals. One nucleus from that reaches the center, and that is a basal polar nucleus. You see, among the 8 nucleate stage, we get 3 cells here, 3 cells here. So 6 cells. One from the micropolar region, one nucleus from micropolar region, one from the antipolar region, that is Salazar region, come at the center. They are called polar nucleus. These 2 fuse to form secondary nucleus. From this we will understand the antipodals are having n number of chromosomes, and the synergids and egg are having n number of chromosomes. We should understand that the secondary nucleus is having 2 sets of chromosomes, 2n in nature. See, afterwards in angiosperm, most of the angiosperm, we know that we have talked about, we would have been taught about the double fertilization, triple fusion processes, in which out of 2 male gametes, one fuses with the egg, another fuses with the secondary nucleus. So when one gamete, male gamete fuses with the secondary nucleus, we get 3n, which is going to develop into endosperm. So this is an additional point. Endosperm in angiosperm are triploid. That is a neat based point. So leave that. Here we have the egg apparatus. There are 3 cells. In the antipodal side, there are 3 cells. At the center of the egg apparatus, there is egg, which is having n number of chromosomes. And both the sides, there are antipodals. Synergids. So, what is the nature of synergids? What is the nature of synergids? Synergids have filiform. These are synergids. These 2 are synergids. Have filiform apparatus. Actually, the synergids are hemotropic in nature. What is hemotropic? These synergids secrete certain substances that attracts the pollen tube to reach the egg. So that is hemotropic. And another function of the filiform apparatus is it receives the pollen tube, pave way for the pollen tube. And third function is it sucks food material from the nucellus and supplies it to the egg to develop into embryo after the fertilization. So filiform apparatus and the synergy nature of the synergids help the embryo to develop. And here the antipodals, see afterwards, after fertilization, as I said, after fertilization, what will happen? The synergid will disintegrate and the egg will develop into the embryo after fertilization. This is the development of monosporic embryo. We will see how it has been depicted in the text. See embryo sac, polygonum type. You see this is the embryo sac. So that is for understanding. This is the diagram as given in the text. See that egg apparatus. Like this, and here they have given secondary nucleus like this. This is egg, synergids. Secondary nucleus, and here antipodals. You say this is synergids, egg, secondary nucleus, this is embryo sac. And these are antipodals. So far, we have been discussing about the gynosium and its parts. After that, structure of ovule. What are the structure present inside the ovule? What is the nature of the ovule? And types of ovule. Next to that was types of ovule. In the types of ovule, we saw 6 types of ovule: orthotropous, anatropous, campylotropous, hemiorthotropous. Like that, 6 type of ovules. Then development of female gametophyte, functional megaspore, next that female gametophyte, and the development of embryo sac. This is monosporic type or polygonum type of embryo sac development, in which out of 4 megaspores, 3 in the micropylla is disintegrate, only 1 at the base develops into embryo sac. This is called polygonum type. Polygonum type or monosporic type of development of embryo sac. For further details, refer the text.